Welcome back to another episode in Rhino. We're going to go over a couple of things that might have been covered in the first set of videos, but either I'm giving a better explanation now or just things that have come up as we've had more students make laser cut designs, especially from these tutorials. So here's my outline. One thing I wanted to, first thing I want to show you, I just dropped this in as a screenshot, and I have intentionally adjusted the transparency, so you may or may not want that. So I've got my right sidebar hidden. You can go over here. You can also do Command Option 0. Command 0 will hide the left one. And you see there's this materials panel. Now if for whatever reason you can't find that materials panel, all you have to do is type materials. Okay, and that should pop it up. Let's try that again. Materials, there we go. Okay, it's not wanting to pop up. So you're going to go to your panels and you'll find this icon here. You can mouse over. It says materials. It might not be shown. Okay, so sometimes you have to dig around. Now what you can do is you can find, I know when I made this screenshot, and you can see you can adjust the transparency. So sometimes this is good to be able to, when you're tracing something, you want to see how good of a job you did, so you can increase the transparency. But then if you want to read it, we can decrease it. All right, so that's just a warm up there. Okay, saving the work, really important. I know that students are used to things running in the cloud and auto saving. That is something that does not happen in Rhino, so please make sure you save often. All right, Osnap. Osnap stands for Object Snap, and if we open up the help menu here, let's see, adjust it a little, you can read all about Osnaps, and let's try that again. Okay, so basically Osnaps are a way for Rhino to help you make things precise. So this is best just sort of demonstrated. So I'm just going to put a couple lines down here. All right, by default a line is just 2-point line. And let's say I was going to do one more, and I'm actually going to turn off my Osnaps here. If I don't have anything, I will not be able to, and I'm going to turn off Smart Track here. Right, you notice how, I don't know if I'm exactly touching the ends. So what you can do is you can go over here to end, and now it magically says, oh, you are near the end point. Is that what you want to connect? I'm like, yes, that's what I want. All right, now let's say I didn't have it on, and for whatever reason I want to do it again, but let's say I just want to do it once. So I can do one shot, and I could do end, but you see it went away. So if I wanted that help all the time, then I go to persistent. Okay, and there's again a whole bunch of other, if we go back to Osnap here, you can sort of see how Rhino can help you, or you don't want the help. Right? I'm not going to go through each one, but know that the Osnaps are very important, especially when you're trying to make, let's say, a curve close. Let's say you were laser cutting and you wanted to make sure it went all the way around. You want to make sure it's end to end. Okay, next thing we're going to talk about, join and explode. So let's see, right now you see my line segments, right? They're sort of different pieces. So if I want it to be one continuous curve, I can click and drag, select everything, type join. And if you take a look at the bottom left, it says it tells you what Rhino has done. And so now when I move it around, it is one shape. If I decide later on I don't want that, then I can select it, type explode, and this is what we covered in the previous episode on the font, making sure the font shape is preserved when you export. Yeah, so you see that again. Now, let's see, just look at my notes here. Yep, join and explode. All right, next thing that I know the original video didn't have a great definition, but I got to learn a good tip here. And so let's say you want to trim certain pieces. So it's really a lot simpler than whatever I explained before. Select everything, type trim, and then any piece you want to cut away, you click. So it'll detect sort of that intersection. So I just I did undo right there. So I click undo. So let's say I wanted to just clip all these pieces, right? So easy to use. All right, I'm just undoing now. So play around with it because that is a very useful tool to have. Okay, I wrote double lines here. So let's just say I made a circle. All right, you can do this one with anything. And let's say I copied and pasted. Command C, Command V. All right, now what happens is sometimes you don't realize you've duplicated something. So what happens is you see this choose objects. Rhino is saying, hey, in the spot that you clicked, there's 2 or more things. So which one do you want? I'm not sure what you want. All right, but that's just something to keep in mind. And sometimes you could have many lines. And what could happen is, let's say if you exported this right here, there's actually 2 lines, and so probably the laser cutter is going to cut around twice. Not the end of the world, but still something to keep in mind. Okay, just a couple more things here. One thing that you'll know from laser cutting is the colors. They correspond to certain things that we want the laser cutter to do. So anything that's black, and especially if it's a filled shape, the laser cutter is going to go back and forth, kind of like a normal, I guess like an inkjet printer, back and forth to blast away the material. The red line is the vector cut, cutting all the way through, and then blue is sort of like, some 10% of. And so anyways, if you are instructed to make your shape filled, okay, what you do is you select whatever shape, type hatch, and then you can pick just a solid fill, and then there you go, and that'll be all set. The last piece, I'm not going to go super in depth, but just to point out, we talked about this in the, I think, second episode. It's really important to use the layers, right? That way you can sort of hide and show different things. Now, there is a command called group and block, and in my limited experience with Rhino, I haven't really found it all that useful, but I have encountered somehow when a student accidentally used group thinking that it was a useful thing, and group is the word that's used in Tinkercad, so I can understand the confusion, but you can't really visualize the group that you made, so it's really not important. I'm not going to demonstrate it. You're more than welcome to use it, of course, and there's all this documentation, but really you should be putting things on different layers so that then you can easily hide and show it afterwards. It doesn't quite have the level of detail that Illustrator would have in terms of showing the layers. So I think that's about it. Definitely the Osnap, please play around with that. I only showed you the end Osnap. Take a look at and play around with these different ways for Rhino to help. So thanks for watching. Let me know if you have any questions. Aloha.